attachment is plugged inside. Because that means not. You still have to. It'd be costly to get a new thing for. But right now it would. Something. Anyway, yeah. So I don't know exactly how this is arranged. The RPD.
Well, Dee was here.
I know Dee is wonderful. Dee is my model. But is Dee here?
No, he was here, and then he said, I said, so how you doing? He said he was having a hard time. I said, there's something, and I said something which I thought was empathetic, but he may have thought it was other.
Yeah, why did you leave?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe he'll come back.
Well, the thing is, there was supposed to be, when we originally arranged this, there was Aggie and Dottie, and they all signed on.
Yeah.
And then, I sent out the flyer a few times, nobody responded again, I said, just a reminder. And then today, I said, this is the last time. Oh, and then I get from Dottie, I never saw this before. You saw that she and Dave in the original election signed up. But it was back in July again, at the same time that I left them here.
Don't lose your mirrors.
Well, it's the same mirror. It's fallen off because the cement glue probably is just not that strong. But I'm going to do that again. It'll hold another 6 months.
Well, the reason why I mentioned the string is because a friend of mine did that. He wrapped the bar.
Yeah, well, that won't look very pretty.
No, it would.
Whatever you call it, extreme glue, it works.
Super glue.
Works perfect. For 6 months. But I don't know what caused it to fall down.
I didn't know. I love tie-dye.
I loved
It
your
knew it was the perfect
presentation.
wrong.
Oh,
thank
because,
you.
I had to go
How are you
really
doing?
slow.
I'm doing
Hard to get
fine.
right. You can't turn
How's your
around.
Thanksgiving?
You just
Horrible.
go behind the
Whoa,
bus.
I told my sister to go down memory lane with her.
I have
Got
some.
dementia.
I have enough.
Yeah.
20 minutes after whatever.
That must have been a fun trip.
So, as a result, I gave birth to all these poems.
Oh, good.
And then they can share the time with you.
Right. Yeah.
I hope I can read it.
Comes back.
It's kind of,
Yeah, I
orangey.
I hope it's something I said. I thought I said something.
Well, I walked out of my house
I
with
don't,
my,
yeah,
I
he's
keep
not
glasses.
been
I have
around
to
a lot.
wear
Yeah,
glasses
I
for
don't
reading.
know.
Yeah.
So I have glasses at my
History, he hasn't been to a lot
office
of
at
the
work,
meetings,
and I
so
have my
I
glasses
had a feeling
by
he's
my
having
coffee
trouble.
table
Yeah.
at home and in my
Probably
kitchen
making
and
Yeah.
in my purse.
yeah.
So I wore one of set out, so I've got 2 pairs of glasses.
And if you get any kind of a dog.
Oh, no, it's just the lighting.
Yeah.
I really don't know. I know that he, I think, didn't want to
Yeah,
disappoint me, we're good buddies.
Right.
But
Yeah,
if you
big
saw,
one
I
is
wasn't
just-
here,
it's way too much.
serving that might have,
Is that rice?
I don't
Chicken
know.
rice?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'm going to wait another
because we're kind of loyal
I'll
to
be
each other.
there.
He's the one who reminded me, he said, Sacred Grounds, December 3rd, and I said, oh my gosh, yes, thank you. And then, he said, so we're, we have each other's back. But, but I can't imagine.
It's out there, it's directly across from the Balboa Theater.
Oh, okay.
36th and 37th Park.
So I don't want to stay too long.
Okay.
What time is it, Stephanie? Does it start?
But I'll read all that.
Oh, I did a 22-pound turkey.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Did?
Trying to get it there. I think I must have had a family starting.
That's hard.
I
Yeah.
have a
So I
couple of
did
the
turkey
women
once
who've
a
been
year.
really
I do a great big turkey and then I have it for
There are
weeks
more
and weeks and
Yeah.
weeks.
women who
And I'm
have
done for the
names
year.
that we know because
You're a good cook, huh?
Malala at least is still out there.
What do you make?
Yeah.
What do I make that you like? What food do I make that you like?
I mean, she just did, all she wanted was she was an exhibitionist.
Well, there's a whole
I had
thing, a little
At the Battle of
buzz on part of the internet that talks about
My sort of
how really was a
sister-in-law
conspiracy.
here
Like,
went
yes,
to
she was
Jeff
shot.
on
But after that, it was like he became a weapons being used for this purpose.
Never was good with pastry.
I mean,
But still, they're looking at it like that.
How did you learn how to cook?
Yeah, I got the
Your
Nobel
father.
Prize,
Yeah. Somehow it all becomes about us
yeah.
and what we want and what we're doing and what we think and what we,
How about a bite of
That's not too much.
Worst thing you can say to
Um,
anybody.
That's amazing.
No, I don't, it doesn't
So
spurt.
pathetic world.
I know it's,
Oh, it's all about you, huh?
Well, it's not,
It's all
that's
about
not
you.
or have to.
And,
Yeah.
that's an interesting,
Yeah.
you're saying, and
Yeah.
first thinking it's all about us.
Yeah, and what she
trying
was
to find
about-
my, I'm trying to find my flashlight.
You should write about that, you know, that's an interesting concept. This whole theory, the purpose of
Do you have any
it is
sisters
suddenly
or brothers?
it's all about us.
I
It's
have
not
a,
about
He's out there.
he's in Mexico.
Garland,
Got a house in
the guy who was strangled.
Right.
And said, I can't breathe, and they kept pressing on it until he died. And the guys let off branches.
Yeah.
And somehow that also, you know, you used to worry about us.
And
We're
I
supposed
think
to
it was
respect.
I don't know which one it is.
It is
but
not. Grand jury is not law.
The last 3 or 4 incidents, like it was one,
I've been talking about
one of the
You know, unrelated things happened today when I
is now planning some kind of like, you know,
this organization called me up and they said they were having a Christmas party. But I like to
yeah,
donate
because
the
you
book.
know, he filled this
So I
kid
said,
or whatever
sure,
it is, but now
That would be the
whole
thing.
back there is so big that
He said, well, you
it
can read
must
for
be
1
cut
minute.
out.
Or what point?
It's all about you.
Why five?
I mean,
That's like a
when I
half
saw it,
a
was like,
second.
maybe it's
I
like
said,
a lawsuit.
they said we were gonna be so busy, we had for me to go dance. And I said, look, they were so busy.
we have,
Is that right after the grand jury verdict?
You know, but to get me up there for one point,
It's not convicting.
that's what I
The
felt.
grand jury know what
That's what I
the
felt.
But
grand jury
it's also the
usually.
And then she goes, we don't need to insult you, it's just that we're
The
busy.
grand jury will let it go to trial. That's
So here-
the way it's.
Oh, thanks, no, I've got.
Verdict
How
is
does that work?
The grand jury, but now the grand jury is,
That's the
it's
word,
all
yeah,
about
that
them.
means the spirit.
We're the grand jury, we're grand. So we're gonna make this decision without
Yeah.
any of the normal
Or put him in the
restraints
car,
and
string him
conditions
up.
that are in what a trial person's life.
I wish I had a smartphone, so I could
all
tell
about
if I see it when I was there.
So how have you been? How's Wendy?
I was trying kicking and screaming to this,
Substitute part-time.
but my company manager.
Teacher's aide in special ed
What's the
classes.
company?
So she got a nice
I'm
option,
still
and she
in
was
social
happy.
services.
Sometimes it's really chaotic.
They gave me one, and I felt uncomfortable using it
How did
because
she,
it wasn't
how did she
mine.
get?
Yeah.
So I got this one, and it was the latest, it was
Oh,
right
it's
out.
for you.
Went down to the district.
And it cost me $150 and a 2-year contract, but then I got $200 gift card. So I paid $50
Well,
to the other
you can
company.
always talk to this.
Reimburses all the calls on the phone.
That thing.
This is that email I was talking
Well,
about.
there's an online process.
I
I
have this
did
weird
that, and I
text.
just got
Oh,
word
the
today
person's
that you
dead.
are.
It's an algebraic
It's not the
equation.
person.
Yeah.
And-
Really.
Yes.
And I don't know.
And somebody just sent it to me as I got it today.
No, I know that, but.
They
didn't do it right.
It's just a drawing of the
Think
algebraic
about it.
equation.
Yeah, that's
It
just
says,
free.
does this do it?
You know, it doesn't matter whether any of
No,
them.
recognize
it
powers,
could be something
numbers.
like you forgot to put
I have no idea
a zip code somewhere.
Our
It
friend.
could be a really tiny mistake, you forgot to fill out one of the
Beautiful.
blanks. And when you hit the page.
Why did you let her farm it?
Always fun.
I remember.
What?
I don't have a problem with
Not
that.
clear at all. I have no idea.
Well, the thing is, they don't toss it out, it's still online.
Yeah,
I don't write, I used to write a lot. but
Yeah.
I don't
That's-
write too much anymore.
No, they didn't tell me how to write that.
Did you fill out online, or did you fill out paper?
I'll get up
No,
there
I-
one of these
I
days.
think I did it online.
Yeah, it's
I
still
enjoy
up there
listening to
then.
you guys.
well,
But I
it's
think
wonderful
I
having you
had
here.
Dr.
You make the evening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I
sure enjoy it.
Well, if you
Sunshine.
really wanna do it, summer
Aw,
online,
I'm like,
you have a laptop. and-
Okay,
I don't have the other mission
He
out
gets
there.
colds in the winter and he can't hear very well.
You know where you're out?
So she said, I'm like the sunshine.
Everywhere.
Oh. He doesn't agree.
See, the thing is, a lot of places, when you have to fill out a form,
Do you?
next to the next page, it will stop you and say you didn't do
I
this,
love
this,
it.
and this. That was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Thank
They
you
just
so
say,
much. I
"Oh,
really
great."
appreciate
And then you get to the end, send it to the
You do me a lot of good. You're like a godmother.
They don't give you
Yeah, I
that.
needed some tips because going through it, I said,
Oh, yeah.
You're very sweet, very kind.
and how am I supposed to, like when they ask for a resume,
Yeah, I
how they
remember.
want it.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
they have a
yeah.
specific
No, they don't have
Well, I
a
don't
have got an
specific one,
interview.
because I sent whatever I had.
5 o'clock on
My
Friday.
resume is
Of course,
pretty,
it's
like,
forum.
just,
My
it
first
covers
Oh, the work there?
Yeah.
They're, I
You
think
know,
they're all.
well, this
I mean,
like
they all
20 years
roughly
of singing
something.
major roles in opera. And
Yeah,
there
the
my
company I work
counseling
for,
degree,
I
my
work for right
bachelor's
now,
degree, my
is
sister's illustrated, a preaching,
Saxophone, just too much work.
Yeah.
all the books that I've written.
Yeah.
All the musicals I've written. And all
On
the
Union Street?
No, it's the.
I mean, actually,
corporate office.
it's kind of
Oh, where's
interesting.
the corporate
On the
Yeah.
It's an
hill.
interesting life.
So I have that.
If I were looking for
The interview
someone,
with the payroll
I would
director
say,
that
oh, she looks like.
That's a fun
she might be
store.
a
It
teacher.
is.
Have you been in there?
Yeah.
But see, what you're being
And,
rational,
evidently the-
logical.
The
This does not.
dress code is you have to wear their colors,
Yeah.
which are.
You gotta understand, that doesn't
You have to
necessarily
go
work.
through hoops.
Red,
for
red,
everything.
red.
Oh, there's a more
And then I think there's a
Oh,
document
no.
process or something like that. All this stuff, then they.
But you have to wear.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but she's gotta go
And you would have to do
earlier,
that
you know,
too?
she's gotta.
Okay, well,
I like,
start
that's it,
then.
I guess it's been there a couple times, but I like
So
it.
I don't mind.
No, no,
We have time.
Might as well start.
You might as well start.
Might as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, hobos and ants, cross-eyed mosquitoes, and something, I can't remember the bow-legged ants, cross-eyed mosquitoes, and grasshoppers chants, I don't know. We're back here at Sacred Grounds, and I want to welcome everybody here, so give yourself a round of applause as you hear.
I'm going to go through my announcements. Very, very few announcements here.
Stephanie Manning has these little rectangular pieces of paper which announce a monthly poetry reading at La Promenade Cafe. All the details are here. It's the first Saturday, right? First Saturday of every month, and it's a great place to eat, read, and they have Gary Turchin, who I know, and so that'll be a really great feature, and I'm going to be there, so, and Stephanie will be there, and
I'll be there.
pretty much a lot of people come, so it's great. All right, so that is here, and if you need the information, it's right on these people over here. If you have a cell phone, now's the time to go like this. Oh my God, mine's still on. I'll take your.
Yeah, right. Oh, no, I have a text message.
All right, so do that. Longest running open mic that we know of in the known and unknown universe. And
Fiona is back there, so give her a round of applause. She's our food reset person at night. Teddy is here also, but he's probably over in the pizza department, I bet. I'm just guessing.
Okay, I'm just going to introduce the prizes really quickly. So we have a few, in fact, more than a few.
You brought this, right? Stephanie Manning brought this in. It's a T-shirt honoring Black History Month. Yes, I'm right. So it's big enough for everybody, and if it's too big for you, you can make a pajama out of it. It's very good. I hope that I win this.
Aww.
Kurt Vonnegut, Mother Night, a great book. If you've never read Kurt Vonnegut, this is a great book to read. Ziziba. Actually, this is a great poetry magazine. It's been around for maybe 25 or 30 years. I remember back in the 70s, I got published in it a few times. So this is not one that I'm in, but it's great.
And it's still going on?
Yeah, it's still on.
And I am in this one, and this is a spare copy of Feather Floating on the Water, Poems for Our Children, an anthology of contemporary Sanford and Well, she's in it.
Dee's in it, I think.
Dee's in it, and I thought you were in it. Buford, don't you? Okay. Anyway, so there's several people who are in here who are in this, and this is, like I say, it's my spare copy. Let's make sure it's not the one that's signed. Okay, it's not.
Like it?
That's free for me to distribute. A world map, a hill of poems, Nature Conservancy, and Simeon My Great. It's My Stories, I think.
Simeon?
Simeon.
Oh, my great.
Yeah. Okay, My Great.
Simeon as in the great Simeon?
Yeah. Someone's saying yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And this is Cliff's Variety. I don't know. Does that have anything to do with this book? I don't think so. I'll put it back in. It's the bookmark. Anyway, I found this book on the top of a trash receptacle, carefully stacked on top of some cloth.
Find your beautiful.
So then I figured, someone went to the trouble of putting a piece of cloth there so the thing wouldn't get dirty. So I figured I'll take the book, you know. And it's good. I read a little bit. It's good, right?
You say there's some Hillel there?
Otherwise, most of all,
Oh.
H-I-L-L-E-L? I mean, was that what you said, Hillel? No, no, a book, a whole book, Hillel. He's a rabbi. Is that what?
I don't know.
I just thought you said Hillel.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's the keynote, which we have today is this man right over here. He's going to give us the keynote. And our mini preacher is sitting right over there. Hello. Tap in, please. You're the mini preachers. There we go. We got many keynotes, and I'm about ready. If there's anything else that I got to remember, I cannot remember anything. So, Stephen, why don't you come on up? Mr. Introduction, Mr. Keynote. The keynote by Stephen. And then we'll get right into the open and get started with this wonderful evening of ours. I'll talk a little bit more about something else in a moment. Stephen, you're off.
This time I pick some of us. Some of us have given up on trying to find a place in the world and having settled for a place to hide. Outside the bar at Jones and Ellis, the light rain falls, reflecting off headlights in the orange half light that comes beneath the pale moonlight. Between the evening and day, a man stands in the doorway, smoking, staring out into it. Hey, he says, there's some guy out there. He ain't moving. He's just lying there. Look, he says, I bet somebody just popped in on him. The man in the doorway seems more amused than concerned as he cups his hand and lights another cigarette. Hearty sirens are screaming from blocks away. And some of us give up to have another look at some of the stuff. William Taylor Jr.
Did you say that last line was what?
As some of us get up to have a look and some of us don't.
Thank you, Stephen. All right, now we have Buford, then Sally, then Owen as our first three coming up. And so Buford will now take the mic and then give it back. Stephen, did you sign up in the open also?
Feel free to put me down. Okay, I will be too. I'll try.
Huh? Because you have that other poem you want to read.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to put you on.
This chapbook was put together by Charlie Ginter when we were both in college in California. It's just another version of one that I did in kind of a sandpaper cover. That's not what it's called. That's what it seems like right now. Okay, there was a great poet by the name of Miroslav Holub, and I tried to write a poem like Miroslav Holub. This is it. It's harbor, and it's spelled like Holub spelled it H-A-R-B-O-U-R. All that is left is love. All that is left is lust. All that is left is an angel flying around my head, whispering in my ear, where are you going in the minotaur of existence? Here I am, I am here. I am on all surfaces and canals of the earth. I am all that is waiting in the back of your tears. I pick up the sheet of beginning, look out over the land. All right. That's what I used to write. Now I'll become kind of a prosy writer, and this is my prose. There's a nice group at Cafe Trieste. It's an informal group, and Owen's been going to it for a while, I think, and I just started. And this was
What days is it?
every day,
Every day.
every day.
Jack?
It is 5 o'clock and after, kind of, right, Owen?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of.
Around, I think, around 5.
Yeah.
Every day around 5?
Yeah, every day, it's an informal.
Uh-huh.
it's just
Yeah,
an-
sometimes people come and sometimes they don't.
That's a
right?
lot
Yeah.
closer than this.
But it's a cool place. Trieste is a nice place to hang out, I think. And this is called, this is about one of the people who came a couple of days ago. It's called the Big Woman Cop. The Big Woman Cop has that gentle giant thing going on, sets the table for another cop, a male, but can, I imagine in a pinch, hold her own weight. She stands outside the restaurant, filling up the North Beach doorway, ready for the next action in her job, or to volunteer in jobs to help young girls who may someday become she. Okay, and this is my opinion. Everything in the U.S., it's called. Everything in the United States is based on being successful with money. And everywhere else, I guess. I don't have money very often, and whenever I do, I figure out a way without much effort of losing what I've got. Paying no rent and then paying it all at once doesn't work with the powers that be, who have lots of power, as opposed to none for me.
All right. Now we have Sally, then Owen, then Stephanie. So Sally, come on up. Give her a nice round of applause.
Yeah.
Well, my Thanksgiving was a different one. I tried to go down memory lane with my sister, and she has dementia.
Oh.
Yeah, she didn't remember who her husband was, she didn't remember about her wedding, it was the day after Thanksgiving. So it was like hitting my head against the stone wall, so I ran to paper, the savior, and I wrote all these poems. I don't know what I'd do without poetry, without paper. My sister has dementia. Going down memory lane with her is like talking to a stone wall. She did not know that I was talking about. But my beloved pad of paper listens and reflects. Our relationship ripening as years unfold. Poem Ready to Be Born came out in its own time. Like a baby ready to be born. I must not stop poetry struggling to be born. When the water breaks, pen and paper needed. Do not abort a poem. All screaming and kicking poems must be born alive. They must be given life. Bringing new born poems to sacred ground, a baptism, a baby poem shower. You sacred grounders, godparents, and family, to my new poem baby. Paper catches my poems like a professional baseball player catches a baseball. Click. It is caught in the cove of the glove, not to drop. With mismanners, say bad manners to write on demand, ignoring polite conversations. With mismanners, say about begging a waitress for a napkin to quickly write, igniting the water fully of images. Thank you. Thank you.
Sally loves songs. All right. Owen, then Stephanie, then Craig, then myself, then Stephen, or our teachers take their stand.
Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
These are my latest poems. Poem. The sun penetrates and dances down upon us. It will soon be a starry night. The day is lazy and smazy as I toy and try to enjoy. These lines are amiss as I care about the air. Staccato sounds, the genteel noise and hum of voices. There were some choices. The night rejoices. Poem 2. Sleep becomes the joy Starbucks does employ, wizards and witches and warlocks. The fog and the music make me less aware, more to care over where the muse has vanished. As I sit there, I vanquish the air. These are some old poems that I found the other day. On Marianne Street, La Crescenta, LA. A long white block. There are walls of stucco painted the color of Oriental Avenue in Monopoly, rust-colored chimneys. The hot sun of summer, dew on the grass, the quiet blues of winter, frost on the weeds and rocks. It was ordinary other than that. When spring comes to the city, the air turns to rain and flowers. The sun is beautiful. The sun prances its promise of warmth and love. But the wind, the biting wind from the ocean is sharp. The air is cold and penetrating to remind me how the sun ruined a life of pain. I am the extravagance of feeling. I am running from the eyes of a closet of nothing. The sky can plant with trembling centrifuge on the skull of nature. I thank my lucky stars for abstruse obtuse verities, for classless objects, and for the abilities to mean more in an ultimate sentence. At times I feel like a subject, an object, maybe even a predicate nominative. Once I dreamed I was thinking about the beach, the wind tearing the sky apart, separate from the thrones of clouds, the reason for driftwood, rocks, dogs, and tiny curlicues of foam. If I could return to that place by the doves, the sea beach seasons, the saved alcoves, and see the clouds and know nothing, the place inside me is like rocks and blemishes, brooding and searching. Who am I? I am one on the street, man, the men who stand spread-eagled in their quiet doorways, as if they could reach up, somehow to the clouds, above the birds, the herds of birds that fly. Someday they will speak as God, and the black sky will become heaven.
How old were those? How far back?
What?
How far back are those? You said they were old.
Let's see.
Los Angeles.
Not as far back. This one is 3/17/09.
I just wondered.
I think they got published in a Tenderloin magazine.
Every day. It's just really fun. Whoever shows
Sea Witch Turtle paints itself. This is from my chapbook, Sightseeing Opera. Paints itself green and mauve, swims itself alone and aloof around Sand dune castles built by old men, children, and tourists, quiet as they gawk with their cameras, and Beethoven, whose nobility read Jesus and Socrates in his wall of silence, the eerie half-light world of his own penetration, Opus 133, Eroica, the scene magnifique, roars back and forth across the bright sand. Okay. Rhapsody. Talking on a hot, windy night, the calm sun starts to cry. The windy fears we all stroll by. The leaves take to the air a fright. The air is a sudden sadness. My herds become men, beats funny sigh. The cloak of evening, I will ask why does the afternoon pass the night? We are the children of the good. The leaves see us fit, though are unchanging. They're in but one mood. We can see we are too static as cosmic eternal sunshine. Some things we say tonight are thine. Thank you very much.
Owen Dunkel, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Stephanie Manning, then Greg, then myself, then Stephen before our features, and then Tom Holmberg will be the bulldozer, closer, mini, super duper, scooper booper.
Wow.
You understand?
I'm impressed.
I'm Dan.
Hello, loyal few.
Hello.
Hey.
This one's called Alcatraz at Dawn on Indian Suffering Day, also known as Thanksgiving. The drum, the bird bone flute, an elder sings, gulls circle overhead, the glorious red winter sun rising beside the Golden Gate. An Indian man on one knee blows a conch to the four directions. Even the park rangers on guard watch at peace. The 6,000 souls present fill with each breath in the sacred silent one. And there's one called Assholes from Nowhere. Today there are not words to describe the carefully controlled cultural changes engineered by Facebook, Google, Twitter, and so on. Assholes from nowhere, trapped in their room by the glowing light, blog into the night, networking, networking into the web of stupid, that lack of sleep, that lack of natural light and movement brings. Their pallid skin growing paler as weeks roll into months, roll into years. The rabble of yesteryears that incited action, revolution, now takes place between strangers randomly surfing the net for signs of intelligent life forms, and finding none, resorts to low, very low common denominators. And so anger of one becomes anger of many. Will this translate into action? Only if the atrophied muscles of a few can stumble out into the open, can navigate by the stars, can tap the last ounce of the ancestors' courage to overcome the inertia of barroom chit-chat on the glowing screen, and risk the possibility of failure long enough to save the world.
You should submit that somewhere.
And then they just found a letter that Neil Cassidy wrote to Jack Kerouac. It's supposed to be like the penultimate influence on Kerouac before he wrote On the Road. And this is a passage from it they printed in the Chronicle, and so beautiful, by Neil Cassidy. I am fettered by cobwebs, countless fine creases, indelibly etched on the brain. There are no unexplored paths in my mind, and few that are not entangled in the weave of my misery mists. It is but gentle fog through which I navigate and make friendly by constant intimate communion. Within the hour from arising off the suffer couch, each sleep I've gained anew the daily grease for the bearings on which I roll. And this last one, so I'm trying to get an idea I've been having into action. So here goes. Idea, fruition, and the pebbly road between idea, the connecting ramp to fruition. Idea is not fruition. To accomplish fruition, idea must connect to the feet, the legs, hands, and fingers. And not only that, idea must move these parts of the machine, or stagnate till it falls off the vine and rots on the moldering leaves. Poor idea, you fill with self-pity at your own inertia. Idea, fresh, good, idea, filled with the joy of the universe, like a baby needs nurturing by means of the energy that produced it. Idea, nothing without motion from inspiration on into the realm of the action, where bodies live and babies thrive and mothers love, and the nature of the things like dancing to the sound of the music. It must be seen to be believed. Stand up now and go forth, out into the risky world, where making a wave in the calm water could result in a boat capsizing, or in a great glory of waves, wave after wave, rocking and rolling like God's great amusement ride, till idea appears before you transformed and embracing change, offering hope, and for a wee moment, happier times.
I'm glad that's in the Akashic Records. All right. Oh, Great Pond, then myself, then Stephen. Do you want to read also?
Yeah, sure.
What's your name?
Zane.
Zane. Okay, I'm going to put you on, like, okay, you're going to be after the feature, so you do the feature, then you, then our closing. Okay? Good. That's Great Pond.
Good evening, everyone. Good to see you, Dee.
What's up?
Well, let's see, I've got a few things I can do in a few different directions. I'm going to start off with this one. It's called Hot Bath Blues. Rough day awaiting the warm, silky flow through folds of wet, shining on sore, skin so soft, drifting below, bath beads of sweat, trickling ever so slowly under fragrant scents that soak and coat the moistened flesh, with water willing to touch where and how a lover should, whenever you're down or feeling kind of blue. So instead of rub-a-dub, got nothing here to hug but a tub full of suds, floating around in bubbled mounds, with each matching every pain, ache, and trouble this hot bath covers, but just ain't able to drown. Okay. And to get a little political, actually I wrote this one a while ago for Oscar Grant, and I think it's appropriate now. And I'd like to also thank Dee Allen for inspiring me when I wrote this.
Oh,
so,
thank you very much.
Anyway, this is entitled Face Down for Oscar Grant. They said he got shot face down in the back, just like that by some cop who mistakenly thought he had his taser cocked instead of his gun. Witnesses shocked, open-mouthed and stunned, shared cell phone video with news and police, but couldn't believe what they'd just seen that night in plain sight when the calendar gained the year while a man lost his life. They said a cop got off, an unarmed man became a martyr, just a slap on the wrist for involuntary manslaughter. Anger spilled from court steps to streets, demonstrations, riot, appeals for peace. Some say it was a fair trial, some say justice was served, but most of us will always say a cop got away with murder. I'm going to read this one. I read it earlier today. And I'd like to share it again with you. I didn't write this one, but it was written by someone I think we're all familiar with, Bob Dylan. And it's, I selected it because of the rain, the weather, but also because of the message in the poem. And the poem is entitled, "A Hard Rain's Gonna Fall." Oh, where have you been, my blue-eyed son? And where have you been, my darling young one? I've stumbled on the side of 12 misty mountains. I've walked and I've crawled on 6 crooked highways. I've stepped in the middle of 7 sad forests. I've been out in front of a dozen dead oceans. I've been 10,000 miles in the mouth of a graveyard, and it's a hard rains are gonna fall. Oh, what did you see, my blue-eyed son? And what did you see, my darling young one? I saw a newborn baby with wild wolves all around it. I saw a highway of diamonds with nobody on it. I saw a black branch with blood that kept dripping. I saw a room full of men with their hammers a-bleeding. I saw a white ladder all covered with water. I saw 10,000 talkers whose tongues were all broken. I saw guns and sharp swords in the hands of young children. And it's a hard rains are gonna fall. And what did you hear, my blue-eyed son? And what did you hear, my darling young one? I heard the sound of a thunder that roared out a warning. I heard the roar of a wave that could drown the whole world. I heard 100 drummers whose hands were ablazing. I heard 10,000 whispering and nobody listening. I heard one person starve. I heard many people laughing. Heard the song of a poet who died in the gutter. Heard the sound of a clown who cried in the alley. And it's a hard rain is gonna fall. Oh, what did you meet, my blue-eyed son? And who did you meet, my darling young one? I met a young child beside a dead pony. I met a white man who walked a black dog. I met a young woman whose body was burning. I met a young girl who she gave me a rainbow. I met one man who was wounded in love. I met another man who was wounded in hatred. And it's a hard rains are gonna fall. And what do you do now, my blue-eyed son? And what do you do now, my darling young one? I'm a-going back out for the rain starts a-falling. I'll walk to the depths of the deepest black forest, where the people are many and their hands are all empty, where the pellets of poison are flooding their waters, where the home in the valley meets the damp, dirty prison, and the executioner's face is always well hidden, where hunger is ugly, where souls are forgiven, where black is the color, where none is the number. And I'll tell and speak it and think it and breathe it and reflect from the mountain so all souls can see it. And I'll stand on the ocean until I start sinking. But I'll know my song well before I start singing. And it's a hard rain. It's gonna fall. Thank you.
All right. Well, that brings us to me. I have to follow Greg Pond reading.
reading that. Thanks for the lead in. So the theme for this evening is the issues and needs of women and children around the world in difficult zones, war zones and things like that. And with that in mind, I have a couple that I'm going to read. And then after me, there's Stephen, and then our features for the evening. We have to talk about how we're going to do that, but it'll all work out. We got time. So this is called On Children's Wings. Let me get my glass. That way I won't have a chance to still move full. Before our children wake, stretch and yawn amid coverlets, we wonder, will they have happy eyes, smiling hearts, and no thoughts save those of idle or play all their livelong day? Will they sing to us with delicate grace? Will they have a sense of wonder, providing dispensation from the deep pull of this world's gravity? Will their dreams rise up, then swiftly soar as if the whole blue wind of the world were beneath their heavenly wings? Will their gleaming souls foretell where rising thermals are, see through the feathery coolness of such clouds as the generosity of the ocean and the kindness of the sun have gifted our world with? Will they know the wholesome regard of men and women for their fine balance of charm and wit? Will their gifts of power and beauty remind us of ours? The ways of the heart are not so mysterious. All it ever wants to do is live and give, and its love is ever in need of giving more and more songs. This is essential, vital, so much so that one may entertain it alone endures beyond all other things. In this sense, its love can never be denied, nor has it any limit, and through it we know heaven is kindly. Its music will ever charm, inspiring our heart's composition of love. And so, quiet in this dawning before us, we gaze upon small cherubic eyes, faces, their smooth brows and rounded dreamy lids, their careless forms draped in slumbering comfort. What will our children do upon awakening? Will they see themselves as we do, find their ethereal wings so as to lift upon the dream winds of this world before rising into those of the next? Before their eyes open, we whisper, yes, yes, you can fly. Okay, so this is related to that. This is in the form of advisements, but it's called for a friend, a child, a lover, or spouse. May the stars gently guide you and hope see you through. May you bear up and be fruitful, and your word be known as true. May your grace through kindness ever tell, and have the vision to speak your truth as well. May you have the sight to see your soul eternally free. May you speak for the poor and to their good, always give the love you should. May your heart remain in peace, so that its giving will never cease. May you be healthy, hearty, and whole, have a new illumination, bless your soul, and have the sight to see your soul eternally free. May you be the hero of your life, and your legends all be told. May you have the comfort of a hearth when your aching body's old. May your travels be received right well. Enjoy your life wherever you dwell. And may you have the sight to see your soul as eternally free. May you always pour when you share. The muse commune with you as well. May your arts address this world's affair. May you love and always tell, and have the insight to see your soul eternally free, singing a life song so that we'll all see our souls eternally free. Thank you so much.
Magical children. All right, thank you. That brings us to Stephen for our features. Come on, Stephen, come on down. Here's that poem we talked about. Give him a nice round, please.
I get it all lined up with some of your things.
All right. Have a moment
Speak
here.
with force. And I'll read it all the way through, but it's not quite done. I think it's a little bit longer. I started writing this morning at Starbucks, to be quite frank. I call it Ode to Home. You brighten my world with soft, transparent eyes. Needn't even begin there. Now that's the surprise. Sweet, true, and tender, like lovely warm embrace. So much more than shelter, when time seems so blue. That home truly loves you. More than a place to stay, she's a beauty in her own special way. So soft and caring and true. We know I am that reflection of the world in you. So even when it's cold and lonely, I know you'll still be there. My life, my love, home. And continue to go on. There seems to be a couple of the spawning points there. I don't quite remember exactly what's going to go, but one of them is your empty hall sequester, not a care, not a care. Your inside walls barren, as complete, making you ever. One to me. And I think that was actually a point.
Get closer to the mic.
Here's the last one to the block that actually flows quite well, I think, after it's already completely expanded out. The warmth of your hearth feels like so soft and caring and true, unknown, and that reflection of the world in you. Honestly, I need to get it all written down in one of those lovely pieces that gave me earlier. Thank you.
All right. So
Sarah came in too. Are you going to be featured too?
Well,
you want to speak?
Sure. If you
Then
need
we
another,
divide it into little bits, I guess.
if you need another reader,
Yeah,
I can.
or we could recycle around, I don't know what we're going to do.
Well,
How would you like to do it?
if we had the three of you
Right.
in sequence, 1, 2, 3, each getting about like 8 or 10 minutes,
Sure.
something like that, then that would be good.
Dee, do you want to start? Sarah, you want to start?
I've got one poem only. I didn't come to read.
Okay.
I came to listen. But if you
Well-
need
Well,
another reader,
we'd like to hear you.
Let's
Yeah,
why
we'd like
don't we
to
start
hear
with
it.
you then, Sarah?
Okay, we'll start with her, and then why don't you?
I'll do a little intro
Yeah,
here.
there we go.
since I kind of- Okay.
Without you, this wouldn't be happening.
Well, this was actually Dan's. This is Dan's. This is pretty lively. Dan's idea, and even the theme, I think, kind of spun from his feeling that women and violence, and then we added children so that there would be a soft element. I wound it up with just this terrible stuff about women, but I loved your poem and the idea of what will children be thinking when they wake up in the morning. I just think that's so sweet. And my son actually sent me a birthday card. This is practically my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday!
And it was so sweet. The card says, "Feet, why do I need you when I have wings?" Isn't that a lovely birthday card? You just think about it. So anyway, so we have 3 people from the Revolutionary Poets Brigade. Yes, this was kind of Dan's idea, but I thought it was a great one to feature the Revolutionary Poets Brigade. We're out there. And Dee Allen is here, and Sarah Menifin, and I'm Karen Milano Review, and we're all Revolutionary Poets. So I'd like to introduce Sarah Menifin. She is very active in, oh my gosh, she does everything, but she works a lot. She's an activist, works primarily a lot for the Occupy movement. And I'll say the wrong thing, so I think she knows more about what she does. But anyway, here she is, and she's fantastic.
Thank you, guys. I'm standing in a hole.
Is that it?
Yeah. I didn't really come planning to read because I thought, but anyway, no, that's all right because I thought if there was open anyway, I'm not going to read a poem of mine. I've been actually doing a lot of courtroom support this week because people have been protesting and getting, you know, the outrage that's going on in this country, the murdering of our children, and people have been, yeah, anyway, we talk about what's being done to the children and to the mothers and to the families. So, you know, I would like to read this part by William Blake. It's a poem. It's from America, a Prophecy, which is one of his long prophetic books. It's not directed, well, I'm a woman, so that, anyway, it's not directed at the question of women, it's directed at the liberation of humanity, so that will certainly help the women and children, especially, as we take the brunt. America, a Prophecy, excerpt, William Blake. The morning comes, the night decays, the watchmen leave their stations, the grave is burst, the spices shed, the linen wrapped up, the bones of death, the covering clay, the sinews shrunk and dried, reviving shake, inspiring move, breathing, awakening, spring-like redeemed captives when their bonds and bars are burst. Let the slave grinding at the mill run out into the field. Let him look up into the heavens and laugh in the bright air. Let the enchained soul shut up in darkness and in sighing, whose face has never seen a smile in 30 weary years, rise and look out. His chains are loose, his dungeon doors are open. And let his wife and children return from the oppressor's scourge. They look behind at every step and believe it is a dream. Singing, the sun has left his blackness and has found a fresher morning, and the fair moon rejoices in the clear and cloudless night. For empire is no more, and now the lion and wolf shall cease. For everything that lives is holy. For everything that lives is holy.
Sarah Menifin reading William Blake. Thank you.
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sarah. And thanks for doing it, you know, just impromptu.
Yeah, thanks for you doing it.
And now we got Dee Allen, give him a round.
I'll have to go after him, which is the worst part.
Well, I have to follow that guy over there.
That's the best.
Boneyard. Shovel the earth and shovel it deep. Lower in its spulker. Surround the burrowed space with lilacs, eulogies, family tears. Seal the earth up again, for a child had been consigned to rest here. For another child embittered has shown him his most glorified toy from youth, his lifelong phobia, the receiving end of a pistol, the known face of doom, locked, loaded, blown. Hate crimes, engaging in war head on.
pale in comparison to what keeps the silent bosom of the boneyard full with fleeting time, fleeting shots, and places to learn, places to play. High risk, high caliber consecration, blasting away the future to bleached bone. The boneyard awaits young black bodies aiming their guns at themselves. That was Boneyard, the title poem of my first book, Boneyard, Poems and Songs of African Struggle Survival in the U.S. Still available from Poor Press.
All right.
Can I get you guys to come back and do a little bit more? I mean, really?
You can come back and do. Whoa.
Sorry about that.
Turn the mic.
Maybe that was all because of my passageway there.
No, it was, everything migrates, the world is changing.
Yeah, this is, the poet, everything migrates, that's for sure. Thank you, Dee.
And I'm going to come back and do one more in a couple of minutes after she gets this. Yeah, but I thought they were going to do it for a while.
This is the disappeared women. Of course, this week we have been concentrating on disappeared black men, boys, suffocated, blown to bits, having their hand. I mean, I just really, I'm not going there today because that isn't our theme, but it's on everyone's mind all the time. And now the last grand jury, the Gurley grand jury, I don't understand what do grand juries think they are. They are not, it's not about them. The grand jury is merely supposed to pass on to a normal democratic trial these issues, and the grand juries are somehow sequestering this information within themselves, and I think is what's going to have to change first, the whole idea of the grand jury. But anyway, the disappeared. 60 million girls, women, have been raped and murdered in India. They call them disappeared. In Asia in 2001, they estimate 100 million women missing, murdered, disappeared. The birth rate for girls keeps falling. Girls are unwanted. They are expensive as brides and useful only as servants or victims of murder. Girls may be aborted, they may be neglected or ignored as babies or killed by their husbands if the dowry is insufficient. Female tourists shun India after the gang rape of a girl in a bus, battered by a bar and raped by a gang of men left by the side of the road, died of internal injuries. And yet, every minute, all over the world, women are raped and murdered, and girl babies are aborted, and men cannot find brides, cannot make brides of dead women. Of course, all of you remember, it's still a lot, Boko Haram. The girls are still supposedly married off. I mean, but this is a prayer for the girls of Abuja. A prayer bursts through my brain, cutting through stars, piercing clouds and sunrise, chopping rainbows into pieces. Kaleidoscope pain of young girls, too scrambling in bushes of Abuja, hiding among limbs and brambles, how now, damp with tears, hiding as the truck they escaped rumbles by, full of young girls' dreams, a burned school, burning hate, blinding the eyes of young girls crowded in a truck, now damp with tears. Trucks scream by, 200 young girls, girded only with pieces of rainbow. Malala Day. I'm remembering, some of these incidents. Malala, I wrote a poem about Malala when she was first shot for standing up for education. And we had a Malala Day last year and again this year. Remember the then 15-year-old girl, Malala Yousafzai, shot in the head by the Taliban because she argued publicly in Pakistan that all girls, all children have the right to education. 9 months later, the United Nations asks her to speak for education. Malala Day will be celebrated. She will ask that we use pens and paper as our most effective weapons for peace, and yet many young girls who want to go to school will stay home because their fathers do not want them to become the next Malalas. I might do another one after D, we'll depend on the time, but I'm going to sing a teeny little song that's a little bit lighter. Okay, this is a song that I wrote a long time ago for my little boy, and I was in France. He was born in France, so I wrote it in French. And if you know French, it really means it's just like there's everything that's good. Oh, mon mignon, tu es beau. It's like you're just the most beautiful thing in the world. There's nothing. But nothing about. I was always worried about these babies falling out of trees and stuff. In the lullabies. I could never stand those. But anyway, I heard somebody rewrote the lullaby. I always rewrote the lullaby for my children so that somebody at least caught the children. Somebody else even made it better than that. I mean, I don't think anybody sings lullabies to children falling out of trees anymore. But anyway, this is for those of you who know French. That's basically all it is. Just nice things about my little boy. Mon mignon, tu es beau, dans ton petit berceau, je caresse à nouveau tes cheveux. Tu me donnes doux amours, une chanson dans mon cœur. Ton sourire me réjouit tous les jours. Toi, petit de ma vie, tous les jours, quand tu ris, tout le ciel, toute la terre sont à nous. Toi mon bien, toi mon songe, comme je t'aime, toi mon ange, toi mon âme, mon orgueil, mon bijou. Que veut dire ton babi, d'y crois-tu en vie, toi le son de bonheur, mon petit. Je t'embrasse ma merveille, mon amour bien-aimé. Les joies de mon cœur sont à toi. Toi petit de ma vie, tous les jours, quand tu ris, tout le ciel, toute la terre sont à nous. Toi mon bien, toi mon songe, comme je t'aime, toi mon ange, toi mon âme, mon orgueil, mon bijou.
Very food. Super home food. All right, D.
You should come out with an English language version of that someday. And her last three poems were mainly about women's rights and all that. I have something more in that same vein.
Good job.
Because even in the world of physical fitness, there is still the big S word present in it. S as in sexism. This one is written for Romanian-born, Denver-based female bodybuilder Alina Popa. This one is called Masterpiece. It's taken you literally years to conceive and create a living work of art. Working with soft, raw, organic material, all access to the right tools, made of heavy iron, not to hammer away or chisel off, but to lift up and down. Minutes on end, days on end, to steadily sculpt your dream structure, which could rival the works of more legendary artists, to build broader shoulders, stronger back, fuller chest, Thicker arms and thighs, rippling abs, healthier calves, your masterpiece. Additional work is done to your sculpture. The task is never complete, but you unveil your evolving work proudly on display. Some men would run away out of fear. Some women would turn away out of puzzlement. What they see is what they don't get. That only shows that they can't handle your labor of self-love, your masterpiece, a whole lot of woman. Your muscles may have already defined you. Most of the world have admitted disapproval of your art, but never forget, you have achieved physical perfection. You have the body beautiful. You are feminine. You are desirable. Let no one tell you different. That one was called Masterpiece for Alina Popa. And the next poem I'm about to read follows the theme for tonight: children, women, and war. Now, if only I could find this damn poem.
You got time. We're good.
How y'all doing tonight? Good. Just seeing if some of y'all are still with me. This is another original poem by me, but it's written in the style of one of my favorite local poets, San Francisco poet Neely Tchaikovsky. This one is called The Repeat Performance. Yes, the dove spreads its wings once more and soars from the olive branch, aims high. A funny feeling called fear startled into moving anywhere but here. So the lovely dove flies, bound for the powder blue, cloudless void, high above the olive trees, scorching ground, and the repeat performance of genocide enacted below. Guns of Assad trained on his subjects who want a certain regime gone, enforce over 40 years of tyranny, create through destruction over 8,500 dead, the Syrian dead, and the death tally keeps on climbing. Tanks shelling homes. Family of 5 runs for cover in Idlib. Mother, father, and children in tow. Hospitals are army torture sites. Blue tile in Damascus gets a fresh coat of red today. There's no desperation like the desperation of tyrants, holding on to power at the people's expense. But to what end? The ghost of older genocides returned, replayed scenes of violence from our globe's sordid history. No lessons retained here, no regard for human life. Hutus kill Tutsis, Serbs kill Bosnians, Iraqis kill Kurds, Khmer Rouge kill Cambodians, Nazis kill Jews, Ottoman Empire kills Armenians. The dove was right to fly away from the sea. That was called The Repeat Performance, written in the style of Neely Tchaikovsky. And the next one is not exactly one of my favorite pieces, but out of our magazine co-editor, Stephen Gray seems to like this one. And another brigadista from Vermont likes this one as well, and he's a Gulf War II veteran. This one is about military drones above the Middle East. This is called Skyrim. Bird of prey soar high above Middle Eastern, South Asian villages. They hunt not inside flying flocks, but alone. They seek not other birds, but land-bound prey. Carefully, furtively, suddenly, swoop down on cars, women, imams, children. Lightning quick, surgically precise attacks. No victims alive. Bird of prey, stalker from the high ground. Stainless steel, high-tech, laser-guided village bombing, reaper in the sky. Seen over Yemen, Libya, Pakistan. There's no running from what's expected least. Western political desire at work. Stainless steel, high tech, death from above. That was called Scouting.
Thank you, D. Allen.
All right, well, contrary to or do you have something else you want to add?
I could bring a couple more.
Okay, come on, why don't you come on up, and then we'll switch over, because after the feature we'll have Zane, and then Tom, and we'll probably be done relatively quickly.
Yeah, this is
There we go. There we go. There you go.
all right, just
Make sure you're comfortable, that's all.
yeah,
All right.
make me very comfortable. This is called Tents of Joy. Working class. Every breath I take is that, even the jokes. Working class woman's laughter, the humor of the burdened and thrown out. Every breath I take, full of delight and fury, little tents of joy, persistent and illegal, is where I have my home. This is called Street Woman's Song. 11:22, drying out my shoe. Every rain rolled up in one, fell down on my head. Now I sit here thinking of my lost children, happy I'm not dead.
All right, so Zane and then Tom, then we'll take care of these famous and wonderful prizes designed with your minds in mind. Zane, you ready? You have it.
Something that's been kind of rattling in my brain. I heard a phrase today. It's like, we have everything and we have nothing. I don't know, it doesn't go along with the theme, but just let that kind of sit there. Killing yourself slowly, waiting for vacant stares into empty night, lit by flashlights and framed by foggy eyelids. The rest of the fear drips down into the dreams, collects like dust onto the backs of hands, brushing off cobwebs. The woman with the broken back hobbles from bed to the door and steps outside to find a black cat walking by and hiding under a parked truck. The waves of uncertainty grapple the brain, upturn the tides. The sanctity is ripped from the hands of the virgin. The baby sits on the ground on the white carpet and cries in compliance with the rules of the world he is yet to learn. The past scabs over and a scar is left where white canvas once existed. The trembling fingers hold a beating heart and it drops to the ground, picks it up, realizing it has stopped. Touched each other's souls like fingerprints on a light bulb, just waiting to burn out. Synthetic light, sold off as holy, sold off for half price, sold off to be in the back pocket of the beggar. The newspapers read backwards spelled justice. The end of the world is coming 1 minute at a time, but eternities pass in between instants, and the rest of the world cries like infants. The omnipotence is not holy, but it's all we've got. The unlearned are the intelligent. The streets are filled with piss and cigarette butts. The privileged children stepped over sleeping bodies on the sidewalk. The people of the world are wishing for something different than what they already have. The Christmas lights are hung. The end of the world is coming. You can hear it in the drumming. You can see it in the thumbing through books. The idols are all dead, but you have to find the one that's stuck in your head. It spits simplicity. In front of moving cars, honks right back at them, pushing construction barriers into the ground, screaming government agencies. The cops come and don't say a word. The traffic cone sits in the middle of the road. The rain pitter-patters. The night goes on. It stares into your eyes and whispers mysteries. It runs into the skies, stepping over clouds, over the ruins of past civilization. It is beginning to end. It has become something else. Something else from the earth grows the wind chimes, hanging upside down, reaching for the sky. Clinging are the blows to the windpipes, ringing. Hear the soul sing sweetly in the back hallways of skull cavities. Rejoice in creation, spit the ugly onto the ground to keep going. Feel the footsteps and drumbeat, feel the rhythm, let the taste on your tongue sit, feel the madness and squash it between fingertips, open the envelope and put in a butterfly with love so you know the words will flutter. Thank you.
Thank you, Zane. Love it. Nice voice. And now, our clincher closer, super mini bulldozer, Mr. Tom Holmberg is going to come up and hold court for several minutes here. Just so you know that he is actually being the mini. That's one of these fine, fabulous prizes will be distributed in just a few minutes after Mr. Holmberg makes his case and pleads for his mercy and ours.
I'm not wearing the can. Well, look, I made it work. Yay. Hi there, I'm Tom Holmberg, and once again, I'm happy to be with you. And
Thank you for your inspiration.
yeah, thanks for your inspiration. Thank you. Something happened to me this week and made me kind of worried, and I hate to share this with you, but I think I will anyway. I was on the internet and on Yahoo, and I saw this thing. It said Pillow Talk, and I said, I think I'll read it. So I read it, and it was talking about how pillows have mites in them, and the mites migrate to your hair and it said you might have mites living in the follicles of your eyebrows. And I don't know, that made me kind of worried, so I hope you're not worried. Oh yeah, and then there was an ad that said, buy our pillows. They're very affordable and sanitary. Sanitary pillows. I didn't buy one though. But my head itches. Don't be worried. I just wanted to share that with you. Okay. When we become enlightened, I want it to be noontime with a sandwich in our hands and a kiss on our faces.
All right.
There was a soft-spoken man. There was a soft-spoken man. A woman came up to him. I've tried to make sense of things all day, she said. I like your soft voice. Will you speak to me? I don't care if you make sense, will you? Yes, he said. What do you think of that? She asked. Oh, pretty good, said the fellow, softly. And then he put his lips to her ears and said, And the woman broke out in a big smile and sat down and held his hand and petted his hand. You may have heard this before, but dreams are what real things are made of. Sometimes a placebo can do the trick if you believe in that. What? Do you believe in that? If you do, tell me. Do you ever question life and not want an answer, but just a response? Do you ever have something wonderful to say and then forget what it was and wonder if it were so wonderful after all? If I tell you the truth, you might get hurt. What is the truth? Is it worth it? Limeade is good. Citric acid is good. In moderation. In the quiet of the night, I don't know whether to think, to dream, or to sleep. I try to do what comes naturally. What the seer said. I'd waited a long time to ask you this question. Shoot, he said. What is the meaning of life? The answer is, you will wait a long time more. Stay alive. I have a little confession. I have been an asshole before. And it's still hanging off my rear end. I know a woman who loved laughter so much, she tickled people behind their backs. Listen. Why are you so quiet? I knew a woman who was a big flirt. Everybody liked her. All she wanted was to be loved. If you go to bed hungry, I hope things will be better in the morning. She was so serious about life that when she went to bed, it was no laughing matter. When we are hungry, we eat things we wouldn't normally like, sometimes. If you give me money, she said, I will do almost anything for you. Well then, there is a problem to be solved. I knew a paranoid guy who, on the surface, thought everything people said was about him. Deep down, he knew it wasn't true. That disappointed him very much. On the computer, there are things which will fix things for $29.95, $15.50, and $109.99, plus tax. I knew I should have had kids. The fat lady said, "It's not over yet, honey. Keep your pants on." On a broken speedometer. How fast are we going? It is all relative.
Yes, Einstein.
Is that it?
Like, do a couple more ones. Okay.
Well, conventional wisdom says that unconventional people accomplish more. On the other hand, if you don't behave conventionally, you might be punished severely.
All right, this brings us to
the honorable conclusion of an honorable evening, and I'm honored to be here and have heard the wit and wisdom of everyone here, and the poets that were brought in by people who read other people's works. Would you kindly shuffle these once and...
Yeah, I would have loved to have heard Karen do 2 more.
Would you like to do that? We could do that, Karen. He's asking.
You want to do it?
We would like to do a couple of poems. So
Yeah, everybody ready to go home?
Yeah, well, we can do this.
While you just call out names while I'm
Well,
reading.
no, yeah, while you're reading, we'll do it. No, that's great. I appreciate that suggestion.
I don't want you to hear any more of my material.
This is, well, I can maybe just one. This is not horrible.
Oh, come on.
No, I mean, it's not horrible in the sense of, you know, dying women and so forth. And it was, I was walking by Ocean Beach, and I just, this is a metaphor that came to mind. And ribbons on the sea. Ribbons fall upon the sea, sliding from the bonnet of a disappearing lover, slipping into mystery. Her hat flung back once more, ribbons catch fire and glow. My curling leaf burns brightly on the bay, one moment glistening gold, then sodden, sinking, stolen from a bay of light, extinguished by a raging tide, sweeping away all vestiges of ribbons, curling leaves and light, bundled in her skirts of pounding ruffles, seeking secrets in a sandy bodice stretched upon the night. Well, this is a woman's body has become a battlefield. You may not want to, I'm wind up with that, but a woman's body has become a battlefield in America, our America, Latin America, Southern America, Northern America, USA, smiling, seducing, using, absorbing cocaine products, catalysts of violence, catalysts against women. The first line of victims of violence, women who work the factories, women who bear the sons and daughters, children suckled in violence, nurtured in violence, drug-induced, sustained by poverty, sustained by hopelessness, sustained by greed. Violence sustained by violence, vengeance sustained by vengeance, war sustained by war, wars enacted upon the scarred yet fecund bodies of women, birthing daughters to be killed, sons to become boy soldiers, conscripted into screaming violence. In the USA alone, 600 women are raped every day. 3 women were killed by their partner every day in 2005. Today, 1 in 3 women globally will experience violence. In some countries, 70% of all women. Victims on a female battlefield created out of the crime of hopelessness.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So now we'll take care of these. Feather Floating on Water, a great anthology. How did you say this again? Signal.
What? Oh, no, that's Seminole. No, that's not.
Okay.
Seminole.
Kurt Vonnegut, Nature Conservancy, a world map in case you don't know where you are. A Hill of Poems, and a collection of poems about the veterans of the most recent misadventures. Signed by Fred Norman, the author, and of course Ziziva, and this wonderful shirt which I showed before, which may be yours should you decide to take it upon being chosen. And then if you're coming next week, you can be the keynote or the mini feature as you've seen. So a drum roll, please, so we can take care of these. We have a relatively high rate of prizes to lofty poets. And Sarah.
Sarah, you win
You're
a
a
prize.
winner. You're a winner.
Oh, you
One of these fine prizes are yours.
You do the mini feature next week. Oh my gosh.
If you want to come next week, you can be the open keynote or the mini if you want to come next week. And then any one of these other prizes may be yours. A shirt, Nature, this magazine, this is a great collection of poems, things like that. Ziziva, yes. You're welcome. And then if you can come back again, we'd really like to hear your voice. Very good. Stephanie Manning. And Stephen, a winner of the evening. Any of these fine prizes. Oh yeah, I'll take those back. Oh, where'd they come back? You can dig it if you want to do it again. Yeah, I can give you this or any of that. Yeah. So you want to do this? Now, how do you spell the last one?
I'm going across the streets from the ATM.
Got it. Hey. Woohoo! He's gonna be the menu. Oh, we're getting you.
Sometimes you have to.
Don't worry about that. Tom, you are a winner.
Happy darn.
You're winning.
Yeah, we have a chance. Anybody, if you can do this again. Yeah, that's a good choice. You like it. Good choice.
What? Oh, thanks.
Karen.
Oh,
You are a winner.
well, you know, I wondered if this shirt is something for my son. I'm working if anybody wants.
Okay,
Yeah, you know, it's awfully big.
Well, I like extra big T-shirts. I wear them. I like.
Yeah, but I don't, he's a
Holiday
electrician, I
party.
don't want him to get in
It was
trouble.
it's kind of a
I don't think
poetry
No, I mean, no, I mean, it get caught.
Oh, don't wear it to work.
Okay.
It's a night shirt.
See you later. Good to you, Greg.
Can you get it? No, that's what it is, it's for work. But I just don't want him to get it caught. All right, well, we'll try.
Zane. Any one of these things are going to be the mini, or any of these in the mini? Good job. Sally, to your left.
I said I could think for a 9:15.
It's, okay.
You guys
Owen?
got enough?
Yeah, the whole thing just ended.
Oh, all right. Well,
As
I'll go.
promised.
No problem. Thank you, Dee.
Dee.
That was good, sweet of you.
I had told
Wow,
Dana.
16.
Yeah.
Well, that's all waiting, listen to
No, sorry.
I
I'm
think
happy to go.
if you want to come next
Oh,
week,
that's
you can
great.
mini, or you can take out those, whichever you want.
Did you have a nice
Pass
time?
on all the above.
All right,
I
thank you.
think I counted.
Greg?
Oh,
Everybody.
well, you know, that's.
And then Buford.
No, no, it's fine.
Oh, I did a mini.
I think it was only, he's all advertised in July, December.
Well, yeah, I realized, and then, but, yeah.
Deeper.
I forgot too, but then,
All right.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd be able to.
Nature Conservancy, World Map,
I'm sorry, I missed it.
going once.
This is a good magazine.
It's a good magazine.
Especially
This is
with.
All right, well, then I will just
Well, I
close
hope
with
everyone
that.
enjoys the wonderful.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. Give yourself a nice round of applause. Speak power, truth power, as they say. Same bat time, same bat station next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Be there, be square, be fair, and share. Thank you.
There's some, chocolate sort of cake sounds up there. I'm well, I'm sorry. I actually am here early.
You are here early, and the record's like, we didn't have a lot of people, so it's pretty good. How you doing?
That's all right. I thought at least I could see your new faces. Nice seeing you. That's no problem.
Yeah, that was, yeah. Monday was the last day of a sick week.
Great voice.
Tuesday was the first actual day of life. All papers should be in process. Today I found out what to do to substitute. I have to wait 6 months. Until I can substitute. Because there's a rule about, you retire, you need to start working the next day. Yeah, so I have to wait until.
Oh, for 6 months? Well, that could be a nice thing.
I think it'd be nice.
Think it's a.
Yes, thank you so much. And come back. We're liking you. I'll split this with you.
I've already had 2 pieces, so maybe someone else will like it as
Unless you want the whole thing.
Well, thanks
Thank
again
her.
for coming over Saturday. It's nice to have you there.
So how are you?
I'm well. You do understand it?
Oh, no.
Getting ready to go out of town for the holidays. Go see my friends in New Mexico and then my mother in Florida.
What part of New Mexico?
They live in Santa Fe. My dear friend from high school and her daughter's my godchild.
Do they like Santa Fe? I mean, because we're thinking about where we might go eventually in the next 5 years or something.
Thank you so
In the
much.
Southwest, we thought we might like it, but then people think, well, it's going to start talking.
Santa Fe is a really cool place. It's got some issues. And one is that you can barely make a living. You have to go with money.
Well, we'd be retiring, and I have to sell them.
Okay, yeah, so I don't know what the cost, I mean, housing would still be
Yeah.
compared to here. And there's a poetry scene, I don't know if it's gigantic, but there are, in fact, unfortunately, there used to be a poetry program
playing violin helps.
at College of Santa Fe, which I think closed, but I used to make